East Africa is easily the most beautiful places in the world, right? And I know that when we look at social media and the TikToks of East Africa, and you're like, yo, I've only got 5 rand to my name. How do I do this? How do I travel? Guess what? There is a genius visionary, Neo Masinga, who is behind Taste Before Travel, which is a one-of-a-kind experience that brings East Africa to you. And she joins us on the line. Neo, good morning.
Good morning. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed this morning.
I love the flavor of East Africa you've brought now. You're wearing your blue, your dashiki. So I can't wait to have this conversation. Thank you so much for putting in the effort. The idea of tasting the continent before the real experience. I mean, what was the vision behind all of this?
So when I came up with this concept, it was for 2 main reasons, really. One, it was super selfish, right?
Of course.
Because as a travel planner, I speak to, my travelers all the time via email, via WhatsApp and whatnot. But I hardly get to talk to them. They hardly get the opportunity to find out who is Neo and, build that rapport and build that relationship. The in-person interactions happen with the hoteliers, the flights and the guides and everybody else. So obviously I'm in this industry because I'm a social person. I love people. So I was like, okay, how can I find a creative way to still be in line with what it is that I do, but also have the opportunity to meet my potential travelers, my clients, and all of them in a much more kind of relaxed and one. And then 2, this was actually truly born during COVID. The whole idea of it. Remember, in COVID, we weren't allowed to go anywhere. We were literally stuck in our houses. So it started off first with doing live virtual tours with my guides in the different destinations. So people would log on to Zoom like we are on Zoom now. But now our guide in that destination, whether it be Kenya or Turkey or wherever the destination was, would literally take us for a walkabout while we're seated in the comfort of our own home, and we'd be able to ask questions. And then from there, it grew once we were able to actually leave our premises and travel locally. And all the hiking, we were out hiked. And now everyone is like, okay, now we've done all the hiking spots. And now what? And that's where the birth truly of Taste Before Travel came, because I was like, okay, actually, how about I find a more immersive way of bringing the travel experience without you having to actually ever, as you say, pick up your passport and board a plane. Yeah. And that's where it was birthed. We started off with the proof of concept, if I want to call it that.
Yeah.
Where we had a breakfast we did turkey. Which we hosted at, I'm sure a lot of people know, that huge mosque that we have on the R21. It's actually a replica of the Blue Mosque that recreated in South Africa and in Italy. So our first experience was visiting Turkey, a day in Turkey. And then we just grew from there. We did a breakfast in Turkey, which we hosted in Pretoria. There's a Turkish castle in Pretoria East. Again, a lot of people don't know about it. And last year we officially launched it with its name. And we went to Paris for the night and replicated much of the elements. We had Parisian food here locally in Johannesburg. We had Air France come through, and then I had a live fashion show from a prominent fashion designer and model, Parisian, of course. And then we had a live tour again. My guys in Paris took us for a walkabout, and we got to see the streets of Paris while we were seated in Johannesburg. So truly what I want to achieve with this is to plant the seed with regards to travel, make it more tangible. Because, everything else that you buy, well, a lot more things that you buy, you get to test drive it, right? Like, if you want to buy a car, you can go a dealership. You can test drive the vehicle. But with travel, there isn't a lot of tangible things that we have at hand. And that's what I wanted to bring in, that tangibility to say, okay, I can just get a little glimpse of what this experience would be when I go to this destination.
I like the analogy that you are saying, the test driving. So you test driving that country to say, okay, will I be able to survive for the few days with this type of culinary experience? Because more than anything, when you do travel, it's one of the main reasons that either you really enjoy a trip or you really hate a trip. But let's talk about the East African edition now. What inspired that one?
So this year, because I'm part of the Pan-African Chamber of Commerce, there's a lot happening in Africa right now. I mean, also, FIFA World Cup is in Morocco. So G20 is in SA. So there's a lot to kind of focus on when it comes to Africa as a destination. There's a lot of eyes on Africa right now, continentally speaking. So I decided, okay, this year for my experiences, I'm going to do an African series. And I started with East Africa just simply because it's a very interesting destination for South Africans. It's one of the top destinations in terms of travel continentally because, destinations like Zanzibar is huge for the South African market. Mombasa is growing, which is in Kenya. And of course, the Great Migration, so it was just a perfect time for it right now. So I decided, you know what? Let me do this crazy thing. And put all these elements together by God's grace and give people an unforgettable experience. Afternoon, a few hours with me on a journey, as you quite correctly pointed out, because this afternoon we are really going on a journey. We are literally, yes, we're in Johannesburg, but I tell you that we will be on an extraordinary journey. We're going to pop into Uganda. Then we'll pop into Nairobi. And then we'll be popping into Burundi. So there's going to be quite a lot happening this afternoon and super immersive. I just want to plant that seed with regards to travel destinations because there's always a why when you pick a destination that you want to visit. Whether it be culturally or you're interested in the architecture or the history or the food, whatever your reason is, you've got a reason. So we're exploring all those kind of reasons as to why people travel. And then the part where I would then obviously come in with regards to what it is that I do is figure out how you would do that. With your flights and the accommodation and all of it and putting it all together. So I literally am now presenting a tangible experience of the why as much as I can. And then once we figured out, does this why meet my deep need? Is it aligning with what it is that I want to experience? Then we put together how you would do that.
So tell me, what do the dishes entail? Because I'm very interested in East Africa. They like to kind of dip into Persian cuisines. I know Zanzibar tends to do that, especially with their market. The food that's available at the market, it tends to lean to the more Persian, field. But with Kenya, I know they're very much in their coffees. So I'm hoping that that's there somewhere, somehow. But what can we expect from the dishes that you've prepared?
Right. So indeed, we've got coffee. However, it's not Kenyan. I've brought in an Ethiopian lady. She's going to take us through the traditional Ethiopian coffee roasting ceremony for us live at the event.
Is it the one done through the sand?
Yeah, so sitting there and all the little cups and all the
Stop! You brought that here? Stop it.
I did. As I said, by the grace of God, it's
mara wena umukeli. Wena ke bona gore umukelo. So wait, yes. So you said the coffee is the Ethiopian coffee. I mean, that's really one of the most intricate ways of brewing coffee. I can't wait to see that. What else can we expect?
It's so then we'll be popping over into Tanzania. We're going to Zanzibar whilst we're at the event. So we'll be having the ladies doing an interactive cooking show, showing us how to make one of the most famous desserts from the island. So there'll be a lot of spice, a lot of interactivity. Then and oh, by the way, I've also brought tej from Ethiopia, which is their honey one, so that you can sample it and taste it.
Wow.
So the tasting.
Wow. Wow. This is an authentic
um,
African experience.
as close as I can get it with us sitting here in Johannesburg, I've really tried to get
Yeah.
in as many of the elements as I possibly could. I've got a chef coming in who is preparing our lunch, and she's an expert in all things East African cuisine.
Wow.
Her specialization is primarily Ugandan, so we'll be basically popping into Uganda this afternoon for lunch. And we'll be having matoke, which is their plantain. We'll be having binyebwa, which is like their crushed bean sauce.
Wow.
um, we'll be having their smoked beef stew. It is going to be an adventure as well for your taste buds. So please come ready and expectant to go on an experience. We're having a live fashion show. I'm here, I'm dressed, I'm looking good.
Yes, looking lovely.
But I'm not quite yet for the
So now
I'm not quite yet dressed for the
yeah, yeah. No, I just wanted to find out the details for the event. I'm interested. You said it's today. Give us the deets. Where can we go? For those who didn't have plans today, now they have plans.
Firstly, unfortunately, the event is fully booked. It's sold out.
Wow. No, that is fortunate. That is fortunate for women entrepreneurship. Yes.
I'm so pleased to see all the adventurous souls out there. They saw something out of the box, truly, in terms of an experience, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, this looks so exciting! It looks so interesting," and they're all booked. So I'm literally sold out. But the event is happening today at Favor venue in Kailami. Starting from 12 this afternoon until sunset. It is an outdoor event. Obviously, we're looking at exploring East Africa. So I'm glad that the weather's holding up, because this cold front is giving me a whole lot of stress.
Let me tell you something, honey. There's nothing a trench coat can't fix. I'll tell you that for free. A nice bomber jacket, there's nothing a trench coat can't fix.
It's very nice as well.
Now, I'm looking forward to it, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm obsessed. I mean, this is just, another fun way of getting people to travel into Africa more, It's them test driving the car before making that decision, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. So all the best for the fully booked event today, and may it be amazing.
Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys later.
Absolutely. And that was Neo Masinga, who's a visionary behind Taste Before Travel. And tonight is the East African night. It's a themed night. They're bringing cuisines. They're bringing the Ethiopian coffee. They're bringing the Zanzibar dessert honey. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And I look forward to seeing the work that she's going to do in future. It is a 7:35 Central African time. Let's enjoy some music coming through from Ruga Victoni. We've got Calvin Momo at some point. It's going to be amazing, man. Let me know what you'd like to hear this morning, and +2763 406 9126.
The Oasis with Ntsako Mhlanga.